Can I log off now? Is that okay? I need to have my beef sandwich.
I have enough confidence in the things that I know. I have enough wisdom to see the logic will be shown. I got one chance to show you what I got. I got one chance to show I'm confident or not. Self-evident reason, deductions and conclusions, and the fools are running away.
That doesn't follow logically, but that's something we can agree.
It's not what you say, it's only what you can prove. You better watch your step, you better mind your P's and Q's. You got one chance, show me what you got. You got one chance, show you confident or not. Don't get caught in the matrix of all of these fakers. Society's spinning, and I'm just here living on the ground.
Those 2 points, can we say that the distance between those 2 points, the shortest distance, is a straight line? Would you agree to that?
I would agree to that. Well, if the Earth is a globe, then of course the line in 3 dimensions won't be straight. That doesn't follow logically, but that's something we can agree.
Self-evident reason, deductions and conclusions, logically thinking, and the fools are running away. You're flipping over backwards to show me where you think you are. Your model dictates that you never see too far. Shrinking in the distance. You can do
Can't do fuck all with an angle.
And the fools are running away.
Welcome. Where'd you come from?
Where do you come from?
Like, where did you come from? Where did you get? I've never seen your name before. I can't remember giving you the roles.
Oh, right. Where did my name come from? I just typed in a random number, random string of letters, and then I was trying to work out how next level works.
Okay, sweet. I like it.
I'm a
So,
newcomer to Discord, so forgive me.
so where did you find this place? Like, have you found the link to Discord through somewhere?
Somebody called Mike Jones suggested I join Next Level. He said I was a boomer, which I am actually. I am a boomer.
Nice.
It took me a while to sort this out, but I'm in now.
I like it. So you've come here because of Mike. Is that
I am.
the
Yeah.
real Mike Jones, or the sock account that Bob has?
Well, I had some flat earther idiot dox me not long ago. And, he put out some information that I'm certainly not ashamed of or anything. But, you have to wonder. I'm a rather strategic guy. I wonder if he ever considered the idea that maybe there might be a sock account out there that maybe even did a super chat or became a member of one of his channels to earn his trust, that was feeding him this stuff in the hopes that he would screw up and post it on his channel and get his channel taken down. God, That would be devious, wouldn't it? Just food for thought.
Give you to hopefully you're not going to come and try and post something that I have to watch out for in the chat, am I?
No, I'm just observing. The Mike, I don't know who the Mike Jones is. It's called Mike on YouTube. The one who says "rooting for you, buddy" and "little buddy" and that sort of stuff.
Well, we can't tell which one is which because, like I say, Bob's claimed that he does things. So you haven't been sent in by another person in order to post something.
Became a member of one of his channels to earn his trust that was feeding him this stuff in the hopes that he would screw up and post it on his channel and get his channel taken down. God, that would be devious, wouldn't it?
In the chat, have you?
No, not at all. I came here of my own will.
Yeah, it's okay. But I mean, like, can we trust you to not post something in the chat that might be considered doxing of another character?
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Good.
No problem with that.
So I won't take your posting rights off you, right? Because I don't want to be untrusting of people because of the situation that we're in. I want to try and keep this as an open server. So that's good.
No problem. I mean, I'm a boomer, but I know what doxing is, and I'm familiar with the rules on that.
So then,
Okay,
is there a chance that you've come into this because of a conversation that you've had on a YouTube channel?
Yes, I just said that. It was on. I can't remember the particular. It might have been one of Brian's Logic. I think it was Brian's Logic. Then somebody called Mike Jones sort of commented on that, and I had a long discussion with him. And he kept saying, "Okay, boomer." Keep me on Discord next level. It took me some time to find this. I actually only got here via Twitter.
Oh right, through my Twitter account.
Your Twitter account, yes. Somebody said on one of the other YouTube channels that Mike Jones is the same person as Bev Try Thinking. So I googled Bev Try Thinking. Up came Twitter, and I clicked on that, and I got here.
Sweet.
Well, but I had been searching for this next level for earlier than that.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll try and tighten that up. We do have a website as well on the level.live.
Okay, Mike Jones, or the Mike Jones, whoever he is, actually gave me a URL, but that didn't work. I got a 504 not found.
Okay, right. Well, yeah, we'll try and cover that. I'm not Mike Jones, so I don't know what you do. Like what you're here for particularly, other than the fact that Mike Jones has sent you in. Now, we have had just recently a bit of a altercation of another YouTuber that has claimed to be Mike Jones, and that Mike Jones was posting a video that the other YouTuber then used to submit a false doxing charge against us.
Well, I had some flat earther idiot dox me not long ago. And, he put out some information that I'm certainly not ashamed of or anything. But, you have to wonder. I'm a rather strategic guy. I wonder if he ever considered the idea that maybe there might be a sock account out there that maybe even did a super chat or became a member of one of his channels to earn his trust that was feeding him this stuff in the hopes that he would screw up and post it on his channel and get his channel taken down. God, that would be devious, wouldn't it? Just food for thought.
Right. So that's all. I've got to be a bit wary about what's going on, especially around new people that come in. claiming that this Mike
Right, well,
Jones.
I'm happy to log off if you.
No. I mean,
Want.
it's fine. We do,
It's,
like I say.
it's lunchtime in England anyway, so I will have to pop off quite soon.
Well, it's okay, but it's we do want new people in here, and we do want the conversation. And I think this other YouTube character is purposely trying to stop people from coming in and talking to us. So, I mean, you are welcome. I don't like this mistrust that's caused through this whole situation, and I know it's may not have anything to do with you, but I just have to
There is a
check.
discussion going on right now on whose channel? Blue Sky Marble, Blue Marble Sky. And there's a lot of dissing of this channel here because they're saying, oh, well, it's empty, they're rude and so forth. Yeah. And there's a lot of dissing of this channel here because they're saying, oh, well, it's empty, they're rude and so forth. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the
And
that's the
Mike
sort
Jones
of
I spoke
attack
to.
that's going on. So, I mean, please.
That Mike Jones I spoke to actually was incredibly rude to me. Man, I don't like being called a boomer, even though I am. And he said it's a friendly channel, but then his whole sort of interaction with me suggested it wasn't friendly at all.
Well, that's the smear campaign that the other YouTuber is trying to portray with the Mike Jones character. Now, whether there is a Mike Jones character, whether there's a fake Mike Jones character that's trying to smear the Mike Jones, I mean, I don't know what's going on at the minute. But I do know there is a group of people who purposely, like you say, that they're smearing this place with intent, right? To make it look bad. And I sort of have to be overly the other way, right? I've got to be careful about what's happening because they're trying to take down my YouTube channel and the Discord and all of that. But at the other time, I don't want to talk to people, so we've got to be open. So, what was the topic that you were talking to the Mike Jones about that initially drew you in here? It can't have been, whatever you've heard over at Blue Server about us here that drew you in here.
Yeah, the topic was sextants. He was claiming that you cannot, and I've heard this claim from others, not just him. He was claiming you cannot use, in principle, you cannot use a sextant in a globe earth.
Right. Have you got any understanding why he might have said that?
Not really. No, he tends to repeat, the character tends to repeat a lot of things, like he keeps saying little buddy, which I find offensive, or boomer, which I find offensive. And there was actually no logic to what he said at all.
Actually, strangely enough, right, we don't really do the sextant thing here, right? We've said to quite a few people, we don't do it. It is, the sextant is an angular measuring device. That's it, right? You would agree on that?
I would agree on that.
Right, now, there is another YouTube character that is very keen on the sextant argument, right? Very, very keen on it. Now, I would say, personally, because a sextant is just an angle measuring device, and a common, well-known fact within geometry is that two straight lines cannot enclose a space, and you can't do fuck all with an angle.
You can't do fuck all with an angle.
Right, well, with one angle, you've got a third of a triangle. You've got nothing. You can't do anything with it.
You can't do fuck all with an angle.
That's what a sextant does. It just measures that angle. And for that very reason, I've never entertained an argument about shape, about an angle measuring device. You may as well say a protractor doesn't work. You know, it's the same thing to me. But like I say, you might have been led in here to think that we are bad-mouthing people or whatever. when we don't really engage in that sextant argument. So if you were coming in saying that you've heard a lot of people say that the sextant doesn't work on a globe, right? That's not us. But
Okay.
why would you think to come in here? I mean, this does sound like something that other YouTuber would try and initiate a conversation about a sextant. Like, have you? What is it that you've heard about the sextant that you feel so? I don't know. If you've just joined Discord to come and have a conversation about a sextant, you must feel strongly about the sextant argument, and I'm keen to understand why.
Well, first of all, I don't feel that strongly. The reason I'm looking at this is I've got a paper I need to finish, and this is displacement activity to stop me sort of working on that paper. I have to get it in by the end of this week. I don't feel that strongly, but I'm interested. And I'm interested. My academic background is history of science and logic. I've got published work on that. In particular, the history of astronomy from Greek times to medieval time. You had the Arabs, then the medieval, and then navigation. So it's a subject that interests me. I don't know what anyone here thinks. I've watched the channels of people like Nathan Oakley, Brian's Logic. Who else is there? QE, Quantum Eraser. We've heard all these people.
Yeah. Have you got a sextant then?
My son is buying me a sextant for Christmas, a Davis Mark 15, and I'm travelling, COVID allowing, I'm travelling to Antarctica to do some measurements there at the end of January.
Nice. So who would you say of the people that are around, like you said a few people, which one of those was the one that convinced you to get the sextant?
Oh, that was ages ago. I've wanted a sextant for ages.
Yeah. So what was the thing then? Like, what was it that made you want to get the sextant?
Wow. I like retro methods. I've got a rotary dial phone that I'm looking at the moment. I like old technology, really old technology. And the sextant's an example. We don't use, professionally people don't use, actually they do. A professional navigator, I think, has to have some sort of backup that allows them, if all the GPS system goes down, satellites sort of go up or break or whatever, they have to go back to traditional methods of getting their latitude and longitude. So, yeah, sextants are still around, but I'm just interested in the whole history of navigation and how you do that, and the methods you'd use to determine your position.
Nice.
It's purely an interest.
Yeah. But you mentioned that you did the history of logic.
And history of logic, yeah, that's my academic. But I've got some published work on that if you're interested.
Okay, so we're in the history of logic because we do logic. My favourite subject.
Okay. Fine.
Where would you say in the history of logic? Where did it start?
History of logic starts with Aristotle. Well, it doesn't. There are people before Aristotle, but it's generally recognised that that all the logic up to the 19th century is sort of Aristotelian.
Okay, like if P then Q type stuff.
No, that's Stoic logic. That's propositional logic. Aristotle does discuss that, but his is the syllogistic, which is all men are mortal. Socrates is a man, therefore Socrates is mortal. And that's your classic syllogism.
Yeah.
If P then Q, and P therefore Q, that's propositional logic, which the Stoics developed.
So you think they developed the logic? That's interesting to me, because I would say, through my looking at it, that the logic's there, right? It's there to be found.
It is there to be found, but formal methods and formal methods of proof that were introduced for the Stoics. So it's the idea of, and you find this with Aristotle, it's the idea of formalizing an argument where you use what are called placeholders, like P, like Q. You can place any term of the right kind, or any proposition of the right kind, into those placeholders and get a valid argument. So yeah, the logic is sort of there, if you like, but the idea of formalizing it is a development of the Stoics and of Aristotle.
Nice. Well then, which leads into the other thing, right? You've got in a sextant. Do you think that sextant can prove anything to you? And if you do you have an understanding that you can give us of proof? Like what the concept of it, like as a whole?
Well, as you say, the sextant measures angles,
Yeah.
and
You can't do fuck all with an angle.
using the sextant, you can determine your latitude and longitude. So, are you familiar with the noon sight method?
The noon sight
Noon-
method of
noon sight,
sighting the sun.
A small dish of water will form a tangent line to the Earth at the location it's set up.
Yeah, you're sighting the sun at noon, so by definition you're sighting the sun at its meridian, which is the highest angle which you'll see during the day. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the largest angle.
It's the largest angle,
Yeah.
or the highest point at which you will see the sun, which is by definition noon.
Yeah, midday.
Noon.
Yeah.
So you can use a sextant to determine, and if you have a clock, the key to the history of navigation is getting a clock which shows you Greenwich Mean Time, not local time.
Uh-huh.
So if you could determine those two things, one, the time, one local, the angle of local meridian, and two, the Greenwich time that happens, you've got both your latitude and longitude.
Yeah, two-dimensional coordinate system.
Two-dimensional angular coordinates.
Yeah, of two of the lights in the sky, right?
Which two lights?
With the latitude's the North Star Polaris.
No, you don't.
And
you
the
don't
longitude
need,
is the time designated by the sun.
That's right, but you don't need Polaris for your noon sight. You just need the sun.
Yeah. Yeah. But in order to find the latitude, one of the coordinates bits that you need one light in the sky, and to find.
Oh, sorry, you need one. It's still one light, so it's still the sun. But yeah, to get your latitude, you obviously need the declination of the sun, which you get from tables.
Yeah, and the time, you can link it to the time. Yeah, there's a definite, right? So would you say somewhere wrapped up in all of that, what you've just said, there is a proof of something?
No, not in that. That just gives you two coordinates which give you your position, a unique position. So anyone, some other time, and anyone who comes along and uses that method to determine the latitude and longitude, and who gets the same numbers. So two people at different times, they get the same latitude and the same longitude, and they must be in the same place by definition.
Okay. So, I mean, like, that's how you imagine the sextant working.
Well,
right? I can understand that.
That's actually how it does. It does work. I mean, that's a classical method of celestial navigation. Okay. The moon sight it's one of the first things you learn if you're learning navigation.
I'm not. I've never get on a boat. So there is literally no reason for me to do that. But I do understand a lot of people's fascination with it, because there are a group of people that have laid up the arguments for another lot of people over the next 2 or 3 years based around it. And now I do understand that. But I mean, it doesn't really interest me, because I know that a sextant just measures an angle. That's it.
You can't do fuck all with an angle.
And now I do have the geometric understanding of that. Right now, there's a lot of people that use that sextant at the minute to gain a proof. Now, that's what we're concerned about now. The actual proof aspect of all of this, which I say is very, very closely linked with logic. And we've had a lot of people in here But it seems to be a mission at the minute to try and get people to talk about. You might be able to give us a better idea of the concept of a proof than anybody
Okay,
else.
so there's no logical connection between long and lat and shape of the Earth on its own.
Right. So
Can
can we say what a proof is then? Because I mean, like we both can agree that the sextant as a device just measures an angle. Doesn't do anything else.
You can't do fuck all with an angle.
Does it?
Yeah, doesn't. But I was about to go on. If you'll let me go on. Can I continue?
Yeah, there's plenty of air for you to continue. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just say yes. Yeah, we now have the concept of distance between 2 points. So I've got.
What do you mean the concept of a distance? You've got two angles. Where's the distance?
No, I'm sorry. Let me start again. We've got a latitude and a longitude for 1 point, and another latitude and another longitude for another point. Does that make sense? We've now got 2 points on the Earth's surface, which we know must be different. Excuse me, which we know must be different.
2 points. Yep.
So each long and lat defines a unique point, and to each point there corresponds a unique. So you've got a bijection, a one-to-one correspondence between your coordinate system and points on the Earth. That doesn't follow logically, but that's something we can agree.
What?
We've got the
Wait a
concept
minute.
of-
I'm not going to agree on something that you say doesn't follow logically.
That doesn't follow logically, but that's something we can agree.
I'm definitely not like that.
Okay.
In my
No,
studies
logic-
of logic, if somebody says it's not logical, then I need to look into that to find out
Right,
why
look,
I should
logic-
be following a non-logical step
That doesn't follow logically, but that's something we can agree.
within
Logic
whatever it is you're trying
tells
to
you.
tell us.
Let me speak, please. Logic tells you what arguments are valid and what are not. Logic does not tell you which arguments are sound. Are you familiar with the distinction between soundness and validity? That doesn't follow logically, but that's something we can agree.
Yeah, I'm familiar with basic logic, yes.
What is soundness?
Right, we're talking about... I don't want a lesson from you. That's not why you've come in here, right? We're trying to keep it to basics. Now, in the understanding of logic, if we're trying to find a proof of something, and you've got a device that measures an angle, like you've just said, you can devise yourself some points, 2 different points. Now, those 2 points, can we say that the distance between those 2 points, the shortest distance, would be a straight line? Would you agree to that?
I would agree to that. Well, if the Earth is a globe, then of course the line in 3 dimensions won't be straight. But if we take the definition of straight as the shortest distance across a surface...
No,
Yeah.
we just said the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. That's the statement that I've just made.
Yeah, but the shortest distance across a curved surface is not a straight line. But we can define, if we like, and we heard of Gauss, mathematician Carl Gauss. He was the person who introduced the idea that of straightness on a spherical surface as being the shortest distance across the sphere, which of course
You mean a
isn't a
non-developable
straight line
surface?
in Euclidean world,
A
but in
non-developable
non-Euclidean.
surface, right?
Right?
A non-developable surface. Gauss, that's what he called it.
Okay.
And the characteristics of a non-developable surface is that you cannot express it on a 2-dimensional surface without distortion. I think they were Gauss's exact words.
Those were, yes, you're absolutely right.
Right, so
Yeah.
when you talk about
Anyway,
those 2
look,
points, right, and
I'm
I
talking about the 2
particularly
points.
say that there is the shortest distance between those 2 points is a straight line, a definite statement. You seem to have, like, you want to inject something else. Like, do you not agree that the shortest
No.
distance between 2 points is a straight line?
It depends what you mean by the shortest distance. If you're traveling across the Earth's surface, and if the Earth's surface is spherical, or is not a flat surface, then by definition, the shortest distance is whatever it is. It's the shortest distance.
Can you, for 1 second, just drop the model, right, and agree or not agree? I mean, like, forget about your model completely. And if I make a statement,
No, I'm saying an if.
the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. That's it.
Let's define it as that. Okay.
Okay.
Let's define a straight line on any surface, whatever, and that's my point about any surface. Shortest distance we'll define a line as the shortest distance between any 2 points on that surface. How's that?
Well, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Because sometimes they're in the air, right? They're not on a surface, right? So the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Now, 3 points are called coplanar because they make a triangle. And the shortest distance between each of those 3 points that are called coplanar is a straight line, making a shape called a triangle. That triangle is 2-dimensional shape. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, let's agree to that.
Brilliant. Now we're getting somewhere.
Except if we're thinking in terms of sort of Gauss and onwards, we're talking about surfaces. So
I'm just talking about in reality and straight lines.
Every point has to lie on a surface. I thought we were talking about geometry, which is an
Yeah.
idealized version of reality.
No, geometry, strangely enough, we break down the word, is geo, earth, metra, measurement, earth measurement. So where these measurements for geometry happen are in reality, right? We make these measurements, we do these calculations, we draw these lines to make plans in reality. There's nowhere else it exists. That's the reason we can get proofs from it, because it exists in reality, which is the reason why I was wanting to get to the proof aspect of it, which I wanted to, because we've been trying to get to a lot of people to talk about the idea of the concept of a proof. Now, in order to get to that proof, we have to have a basic understanding of what we're using. And I'm guessing, seeing as we are going to be talking about shape and lines and curves and stuff, we best have a basic understanding of what the words that we're dealing with in order to give that proof or to receive the proof, right? So I like the idea that we're going over these basics at first. Straight line basics. I mean, we've got a lot of them. And this is based on the thing that, I mean, I like this. This is the stuff I've been studying for quite a while. People and proofs and logic and reality, obviously, at the same time. So when I say, me personally, I have a proof, I know what that is. I'm curious as to know what other proofs people hold and what they consider as proofs, and whether they could offer that proof that they hold to other people. That's all I'm concerned about at the minute.
Okay.
And the fact that I think a lot of people have been led up the garden path with the sextant. There's loads of you that have fallen into it, and it's a clever trap. The flat Earth massive have led you into an argument, a circular argument, that they're going to have you wrapped up for ages with. You're going to be thinking you've got something, they're going to be thinking they've got something, and you're going to go round and round talking sextants for ages. and it's just a protractor. That's it.
So, what is your point? What is your point?
You can't do fuck all with an angle.
Because the point is that if we're after proof of something, and you admit that you can't really get a proof from the sextant, then the argument that you're leading yourself into, as you know, logical is an argument, right? You base an argument around a series of truth or false statements in order to find a validity of a truth statement at the end. Well, truth and proof, probably the same thing, right? If there's a way to structure the truth within a proof, then you can present it. That's what we're after.
Okay. I'm finding it hard to get a word in edgeways here.
Okay.
We were leading on to you wanted me to lead on to what the sextant can prove, and you rightly say it doesn't. Sextant does not tell us anything about the shape of the Earth as it stands. However, we need to add to that how we measure the distance between 2 points of lat and long, right? So 2 points, one latitude, one longitude.
Those 2 points, can we say that the distance between those 2 points, the shortest distance, would be a straight line? Would you agree to that?
I would agree to that. Well, if the Earth is a globe, then of course the line in 3 dimensions won't be straight. Another point, a second latitude and a second longitude. If you're navigating, I'm a keen sailor. We need to find, excuse me, we need to know the distance between 2 points. So I've done a noon sight. I know my lat and long. I've got charts which tell me, I know the rocks and the cliffs and the high seas are at a different lat and long. I want to know how far I am from that, right? That it's crucial to my survival that I know that, correct? Seems to have lost you there. Al seems to have gone down, so I'm logging out. But nice to talk to you.
I can still hear you.
No, Debbie. It was giving you
that
time
might
to
have
talk. You asked for time to talk, so therefore he was giving you time to
I
talk.
finished what I was saying. I was asking if we have agreement that if I have my lat and long, I've measured it via the noon sight. Know the lat and long from charts of where the danger point is. Now I need to know from just those 2 bits of information about the 2 points how far I am from the danger zone. Do we agree that's important?
How did you get your lat and long?
By a noon sight.
Right. So, has the lat and long been surveyed?
No. The sextant, I thought we've agreed this, the sextant gives us a latitude and longitude of my position.
They just give you angles to lights in the sky.
Right, so we're disagreeing that it gives me a lat and a long. Okay.
Well, you can call one of them
call
lat
it
and you
that.
can call one of them long. I mean,
It
you
gives me a
can do what you want.
coordinate. Logic, you have to agree the steps in the argument. Do we agree this? Do we agree that? I thought we'd agreed about 10 minutes ago.
We just agreed that an angle, you can't get anything with.
Oh, right, so we don't agree there's such a thing as a lat and a long, and that gives us a point on the Earth's surface.
I didn't say that.
Can I ask a question about the words latitude and longitude?
Yeah.
Baby. Yeah, so those words have implications, right? Like hidden implications that are not necessarily hidden, but they definitely imply certain qualities, right?
Don't have
I mean,
to.
you wouldn't say, north and south and east and west. You say lat and long. You don't say, left, right, forward, backward, right? You say lat and long. So lat and long necessarily have certain implications that you're trying to push forward in the conversation, right?
Well, you can if you want, but there's an operational procedure for measuring lat and long using just a sextant and observing the sun, the noon sight, and that gives me 2 numbers.
Yeah, what I'm getting at is the actual words themselves.
Well, whatever. You know, lat can mean happy, and longitude can mean bad. How about that?
Okay,
Well,
can
what?
I come in here? Like, I
Don't
mean,
see the relevance.
you're saying Latin long, right? You're on the water. We're land lovers, right? And we particularly deal with the land. Now, you're from the UK. We have a grid reference system with our mapping system, right? We don't use Latin long on the maps that we map the UK with, right? They are on a grid reference system.
Yeah, but the
And
grid reference
also,
system translates to the. Okay, you're talking over me.
well, because I hadn't finished, because, you know, I was carrying on.
Okay, go
He
ahead.
said,
Go ahead.
also in America, where they do actually use your Latin long or whatever, but within surveying on the land, they have northings and eastings. Now, they are based, as you would expect, on a perpendicular system. Right? So that's all I know. When we're talking about on the land, we talk about grid references and mapping and measuring actually. Like, we're using measurements, not angles to lights in the sky. We actually measure reality. In reality, on the land. This only needs to come in the sextant because you're on the water, and the water you cannot measure. It's like the air. The air moves. You can't measure it. You need land-based stuff to be able to effectively measure in reality.
Oh, but I came into this discussion via the sextant.
I know, but I did say right at the beginning, we don't deal with the sextant because it's just an angle measuring device.
You can't do fuck all with an angle.
We have those on the land too, and they're more accurate.
Can I log off now? Is that okay? I need to have my beef sandwich. Thank you for talking, guys.
Okay, thank you. Pop by next time, anytime. Well, I'll try and help
See ya.
you through it.
Oh.
If you enjoyed the content, please support On the Level and future projects. Membership subscriptions available now, or come and get involved at Next Level Discord server. Thank you.
So there's no logical connection between long and lat and shape of the Earth.